So welcome to video number 6, and we are going to talk about company colors. Now that we have talked about color psychology in the previous video, I want to give you some real life examples, and we're going to dissect some real life companies, and we're going to take a look at their logos, and we're going to take a look at what each of those logo colors invoke as far as emotions go, and as far as how the company wants to portray themselves. So that way you get an idea of how you can apply it to your own company branding or personal branding. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and take a look at some company logos that are from big brands. And big brands are a good example to follow because if you'll notice, a lot of them tend to stick with one color. And then, of course, if they add another color, it will, generally speaking, be a variation of that color or a lighter or darker version of that color because they really want to emphasize that one group of emotions. Now, you will notice that some companies like Google and eBay, they'll have all sorts of colors. It's a little bit harder to do that because you have so many different colors, but you can pull it off. Another thing to think about is if your company is a global company. If it's a global company, you're going to have to think of the different cultures, which makes it a little bit more difficult, but that's just something to think about. If it is particularly towards your specific country or maybe a group of countries, then that will probably make it easier, especially if there are similarities in the language. So for example, America and other different European countries, there might be similarities in colors. But if you go out, say for example, like China, the red means happy. Whereas over here, red can mean different things, like opposite things. So that's just something to keep in mind as you are thinking about the colors in your own logo. So if we take a quick look at some of the big brands here, we have IMDb, and IMDb is a movie database, and the orange, as you can see here, they're mainly doing a little bit yellowish orange. They have lights and they have darks, and of course they have the black words. Now, what does that mean? Now, a lot of us, when we look at this and we don't know about color psychology, we think, oh, okay, it's a bunch of colors. No, not necessarily. If you see this, orange tends to mean optimism, clarity, and warmth. So they want you to feel that way as you go through their movie database. Take another example. This icon here expresses friendly, cheerful, and confident. So a little bit of orange, orangey red kind of thing. And then of course, red, like actual red, means excitement, youthful, and bold. And we can see Coca-Cola utilizing this particular red. Now, as you can see, they don't have many colors. It's just red and white. You'll notice a lot of companies tend to use whites and blacks, like this. Yellows and blacks, orangey red, white, and then red and white. You don't see a ton of variation of different colors because it's a lot easier to just work with one color and pick one color because as you can see, one color isn't just one word, it means many different words. So let's take another example. We've got T-Mobile. T-Mobile is a cell phone or cellular network. And as you can see, the pinkish orange means creative, imaginative, and wise. And that's what they want you to feel like when you see their logo. Creative, imaginative, innovative, wise. Blues, we got Facebook. Blues tend to be more of a calming feeling, and we can see that we have trust, dependable, and strength. You'll notice that a lot of companies tend to use blue, and there's a big reason for that. And that reason is because they want you to feel calm and trustworthy. of their brand. Now, as you can see, like Facebook, it's just a blue background with white words. You notice that? Solid background with white words, or solid background with black words. So when you start to get fancy with your colors, just keep that in mind. You don't really have to go expand and add all these different colors. You can add just one and have white, or one with black, or just one or a variation of two. But you probably don't want to add too many colors, as you can see here. And we have Spotify. Spotify has a green background, which green tends to point to peaceful, growth, or health. So if you're in the health and fitness, or in the kind of the green gardening type stuff, if you think about green, we think about green leaves, green trees, all that green is peaceful, right? And then, of course, we have Apple, and Apple is a great example as well for a solid gray background with white in the middle. So as you can see, it's not super fancy, but it's solid in the background, white in the middle, and then you have balance, neutral, and calm. I don't know how many of you have iPhones or any other products from Mac, maybe a MacBook Pro, but a lot of times you'll notice even their products tend to be kind of that grayish color, right? So for example, like the MacBook Pro is gray in some versions of it, many versions of it. And it just brings that calm, neutral, balanced feeling. A lot of times you receive an iPhone and you buy one, if you notice that they'll include these little Apple stickers in there. And generally speaking, their box that they make, it just feels calm, right? And then, of course, we have diversity. We have Windows 7 or even Windows 8 now, Google, eBay, and NBC. So all of these different colors expresses diversity. And that's what Google wants people to look at. They want to be known as a global international company. eBay as well, NBC as well, and Windows as well. Now, with that in mind, though, like I said, having different colors can be a little bit more difficult because you are dealing with so many different colors. And you want to think about, are you a international company, or are you based primarily out of your country? Because if that's the case and that's where your demographics are, it's going to be a little bit easier.